Hello people, welcome back to another live stream. Today we're going to be tier listing the F1 2023 liveries. It is that time of the year again. I can't lie, I haven't actually set this up properly just yet, so this is the 2022 liveries you're watching right here, so I'm just going to do this properly. Give me a second. I'll just delete all of these. Actually, I think I'll just I'll do them as I go along. So all right, we're going to do them in order of when they were released. So that means we're starting with the Haas. That'll do. We'll just copy that, put it into here. If it lets me, it doesn't. No, that's annoying. This is not going quite to plan. Alright. Starting off with the Haas VF23. So, when I first saw it, I can't lie, I didn't really like it because it was just pretty ordinary and nothing special. But to be honest, now looking at the rest, now that all of the other liveries have come out as well, my opinion has changed. Actually, let's change these sort of title things because they're a bit boring. Yeah, those two would do. Yeah, so now seeing the rest of the liveries come out, I have to say my opinion has changed, and also seeing the pictures on track, it's not bad. And you know, from the front angle as well, you can see here, I actually quite like it from the front, like dead on front. The way they've done MoneyGram on the front wing is not the neatest thing I've ever seen, but still, it's pretty damn decent. Side angle's not the greatest, but it will do. So for now, I'm going to put it in. Where should I put it? I reckon I'll put it in decent, because that's what it is, basically. Actually, let's zoom in a little bit. So then it's. Alright. Next one. I have no idea which one was released next. I think it was Red Bull, if I remember correct. Was it the Red Bull? It's a bit of a... I think it was the Red Bull. Yeah. Alright. So then. Wait, that's the RB18. Wait, no. Oh, it is the RB19. Okay. I did not do that on purpose, just saying. Yeah. So, oh yeah, I can't. So stupid, I can't copy and paste for some reason. Alright. Now then, looking at this Red Bull, it's the same as last year. pretty much. You've got the Honda logo instead of HRC that you had last year, and you've got a few different logos. Maybe they've shifted a little bit, but generally it's the same livery. And I can't lie, it is getting a bit boring now for me. I mean, at first I didn't really mind having Oracle on the side pod, like a massive Oracle logo on the side pod. But now I just feel like I don't know, it's making the Red Bull logo look a bit too small and sort of, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan, so I'll put it in decent as well. It's not, I don't hate it, but it's not my favourite. Let's just put it that way. I am doing this on WPS Office, which is literally the same as Word. So, yeah, not the most professional thing ever, but that's just my channel basically. So then, the Williams, I have no idea what it's called, but slightly different. Okay, that will do. What? Oh, it's a. That's annoying. There we go, JPG. That would work. So, what do I think about this Williams? It's actually, when I first saw it last year, I don't know where I put it, but it was not my favourite. Now looking at it, it does actually look really nice. So, obviously they've moved away from the the gloss design, and it's now matte, which I prefer. And also, they've kept some red on the car, but it seems to have been cut down slightly. And I have to say, it is much more neat the way they've done it this time, and it actually complements the blue quite nicely. And also, of course, that sponsor up there, Duracell, that's genius. It does actually look quite neat, that, I have to say. And also what they've done with the wheel covers, with those arrows, that's pretty cool. Although when you're moving, when it's moving, you're not gonna see that. But anyway, it's a good looking livery, I have to say. Where should I put it? I'm gonna put it in Simply Lovey for now. But yeah, it looks good. Alright, next one. I have no idea which one's next. Actually, let's go full screen, that's better. Alfa Romeo. C43, I want to say. Yeah. Well, Top Gear, I've already said something about it. Alright. So, this Alfa, I have to say, when I first saw it, I really did like it. It did look really nice. Yeah, it's pretty much, it's very similar to last year's Alfa. It's just that they've replaced the white with black, the carbon black, and that it works. Either works. It does actually look really nice, I have to say. And obviously they've actually put the proper sort of Alfa Romeo logo back on the engine cover, as opposed to last year's sort of Alfa Romeo text. I'll find a picture of it. Oh, whoops. Yeah, this is last year's car. And obviously not Orlan anymore. That's moved to a different car. We'll get onto that later. I'm sure Some of you already know this. It's been replaced with steak. Hasn't changed things too much, but yeah, I have to say, it's not my favourite sort of sponsor placements, that on the rear wing, the way they have two of them. They could have made it a bit more neat than that, but still, it's not stopping it from becoming a very good livery. So, where should I put it? I have no idea. The thing is, it does look really, really good in showrooms and also in daylight on track. Also, it's good that we've seen all of these cars on track, so we can actually have a proper look at them, sort of where you'll see them most often. It looks good in daylight, but when it comes to like night races, I'm not sure it'll be the most exciting looking car. But yeah, it is good looking. I reckon I'll put it in Simply Lovely for now. But I'll put it ahead of the Williams, if that's possible. Doesn't want to. Doesn't want to go ahead of the Williams. It just wants to go in goated. No, it's just overlapping, isn't it? There we go. Got there eventually. Right. Moving on. Which one's next? Alpha Tauri. Whoops. Let's move on to Alpha Tauri. It's 8004, I'm tempted to say. There we go. Okay then. This one is going to be interesting because it's definitely split opinions of many, many people. Let's just zoom back in again. Okay. So then, Orlen. They've left Alfa Romeo, they're now sponsoring Alpha Tauri, as you can see. So, as a result of that, because of Orlen, they wanted to add red onto this car. And some people say it's completely ruined the look of it, but some people say it hasn't. So, what do I think about it? Well, okay, I'll just say it. I think it's all right. It looks. It's not my favourite looking car, but it's also not my least favourite either. So I'm not sure. It's a tricky one. I mean, the front end angle from the front, this car looks terrible. It's terrible. Yeah, that's just not a very good look. But then, yeah, I don't know. It's just from the front. You can see you've got a white nose, but then everything around it is darkly coloured. They've got this sort of really, really dark blue on the sides, but then you've got a carbon front wing, which is interesting. And then you come around to the side, the flex box in orange doesn't really work. Actually, let's go full screen on this as well. Yeah, the flex box in orange doesn't really work, so I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe Flexbox insisted on having that in that colour. But anyway, what they've done with the wheel covers is it's all right. It's neat. It looks. I mean, let's be honest. On track, when the car is moving, you're not going to notice it. What they've done with the Italian flag is pretty good. Is there any rear end angles that we can see? It's just okay. So nothing much going on there. Yeah, so you've got Italian flag on the rear wing and on the inside of the front wing, as you can see. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just bits of red slapped onto it. It's not neat. I don't like how they've put it on the halo. Putting it on the rear wing, that's okay. There's nothing much you can do about that. I mean, yeah, it was always going to be tricky adding red onto a car like this. So I'm going to stick it into... how do I prefer it to the Haas? I don't. But I'm going to put it ahead of the Red Bull because the Red Bull has just been... I just feel like you need some sort of change, even if it's a small one. But they haven't done anything to that RB19. It's just an RB. They literally, in the car launch, they spent 1 hour waffling about random stuff. Well, a lot. I obviously understand that they're partnering up with Ford, but still, you don't need to spend an hour talking about that. At least do it after the car reveal. And then they revealed literally last year's car. So, yeah. I'm not even kidding. They revealed last year's chassis. So, there you go. Next up, McLaren. So then, I don't know why they called it the MCL 60, but they did. Last year's was the MCL 36, so I don't know. Yeah, anyway, doesn't matter. That's a terrible image. That's not even this year's car. That'll do. Okay then. So then, McLaren. What do I think about this? It's interesting. Sometimes I can look at this car and think they've made a good looking car, even though it's not particularly different to last year. But from some angles, I just feel like it's nothing interesting, nothing special, and it's a little bit. It's a tricky one, the McLaren. I feel like the way they've added this light blue, I was never a fan of it. The way they added light blue, but it's just, I don't know. Sometimes I can look at this car and think, okay, they've added light blue and it works, but sometimes I just feel like it doesn't. It's so tricky to say. The rear wing, they've made it orange instead of black, which is what they did last year. That's fine. Actually, initially last year they had it in blue, if I remember correctly. Let's find an image. Yeah, well, bits of it in blue. But then, as the season went on, they removed that blue and then just made it carbon black, like that, as you can see. Which didn't make it any better, not gonna lie. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I'm gonna put it if it allows me to. I'm gonna put it in the top of decent. I think it's better looking than the Haas, but not good enough to be in simply lovely, I feel like. So yeah, let's try to shrink these and put them all in one line. That's a bit better. Alright, next one. Aston Martin. Let's put up the livery for that. I can't remember the model name. AMR 23. Okay. So then, what do I think about this Aston? It's practically the same as last year as well. I mean, it just is. Oh, I can't, of course. So, yeah, it's not much to say. It's literally the same as last year's car, the livery. But can I complain? Do I need to complain? No, it's a great looking car. It's a similar case to the Alfa, where it's sort of it's going to be good looking in the sort of daytime races, but in night races it may look a little bit dull. But it's not going to stop me putting it in goated, to be honest, because it is just simply a very good livery. And yeah, I really like it. So that's where the Aston is going. What's the next one? All right, Ferrari. We're zooming through this. Not really, but okay. This is an sorry, I can't speak. This is an interesting one because they've changed it in some ways which have improved it compared to last year's F175, but come on, give me a good image. I'm just going to have to use an on-track photo. That is fine. Oh, so I can't insert web pictures. Has to be. Come on, give me a half decent one. Okay, JPEG, good. All right, back to this. It's okay. All right, let's just go back to a better image. So let's God's sake. Okay, side on angle maybe. There we go. That's better. So this is the main thing that I'm going to look at. So they've added carbon black here, just below the Keva Logistics logo there. And obviously they want to save as much weight as possible in terms of paint, but I don't like what they've done there. Like, it just doesn't make sense, in my opinion. It's so out of place. Like, it just doesn't work. But they've also added red on the front and rear wing end plates, which, the rest of the front and rear wings parts are carbon black, so just keep it that way. They haven't necessarily removed a large amount of paint. It's just that they've shuffled it about. They've also added a bit more carbon left exposed here, which is fine, and also here as well. That's all fine, in my opinion. I think that actually makes it look quite neat. But those are my only complaints, really, I have to say. If we look front on, it does look very good. The front is definitely the best angle. So they've changed the font of the car numbers to white. The font itself is the same, but it's now white, which is fine. It's more legible, so that's good. And they've also added Ferrari onto the rear wing, the Ferrari logo, which has been missing for the whole of last season, apart from in the Italian Grand Prix. And I have to say, thank God they've done that. It looks fantastic. It's in white. Could have been in yellow, like they did in the Italian Grand Prix last year. See if I can find an image for that. As you can see, yellow Ferrari logo. But to be fair, they're probably would they do it again this year? Maybe. We don't know. But yeah, apart from the black that they've added onto the side there, it's an upgrade from last year, I'd say, in my opinion. I just really like it. It's not too dissimilar, but it looks good. So I'm going to put it in goated, because it is pretty goated, in my opinion. of course, you can have your own thoughts in chat or comment, but yeah, I think it's pretty goated. All right, next up, I think it's the Mercedes. Can't quite remember. It is. Okay, this is where it starts to get interesting. Well, I say starts to get interesting. We're already. This is the second last one, but anyway, doesn't matter. W14. Here we go. Oh, whoops. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. What do I think? I don't want to move it up into the where into the same page. Never mind. Doesn't matter. So, let's pull up different angles of this car because I actually want to go into this because it's interesting. Right, side angle. Well, actually, obviously, I should start talking about the one thing that is the main thing that has changed from last year. It's black. Obviously, last year W13 was silver. They returned to silver compared to the year before in 2021, where it was black, and so was the W11. And then before that, they were also silver. It's an interesting story, I know, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So what they're saying is they've gone back to black because not only does it convey the messages of why they introduced the black in the first place in 2020 to try and end racism and increase sort of diversity, that kind of thing. Not only that, they've also decided that it makes sense for their sort of brand because initially the silver came from the fact that they removed all of the paint from their original race car because it was overweight. So it just left the bare aluminium. They're saying it's a similar case here where they had too much weight, wanted to remove as much of it as possible, removed all the paint. It's not made out of aluminium, F1 cars these days, obviously. It's carbon fibre, and carbon fibre raw is black. So, it's obviously a big change, and I can't lie, when I first looked at it, I was very, very surprised. And I have to say it's grown on me. Like, when I first saw it, I wasn't especially convinced, but it's grown on me. I mean, I'm going to start with the criticisms. Don't really understand why George Russell's 63 is in green. I don't know. I don't know why. Like, George he's never had green in any. I don't remember him ever having green in anything. He's always well, he's had a red helmet in the past. He's also has a blue helmet right now. Just make it red or blue then. Why is it green? I don't understand. Anyway, also, okay, Lewis's number, yellow, makes sense. No issues with that. What I would prefer as well is if they had the silver stars more silver, so you can actually see it, because from some angles it literally looks as if it doesn't exist. And also, one thing that I should point out, which many people haven't noticed, is that the Patronus is moved further back, and it's also like the actual logo itself is gone. Like if we look at the W13, they had this this sort of logo here, but it's gone for some reason. Don't understand why. Anyway, sponsor placements. are very similar. They've added a few more sponsors, Solera on the side there and on the top of the steering wheel. And Snapdragon, new sponsor, moved from Ferrari after 1 year to Mercedes. And of course, they've removed the red from the engine, top of the engine cover. It used to be quite a lot of it was red, but now it's just the hoop, the red hoop around the roll hoop. Doesn't really make a difference for me. I don't really mind. Some people hated the fact that the whole thing was red up here before, but I don't really mind. So yeah, let's where should I put this on the actual leaderboard? I reckon it's to be honest, many people rate this one really highly. But for me, I'm going to put it in Simply Lovely, ahead of the Williams, but behind the Alfa, in my opinion. I reckon that's where it should go. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with where that is. Oh, the Williams looks so good. So, yeah, I'm putting them basically level with each other. All right, final two, actually. Alpine up next. So, they've released 2 liveries, one of which is blue and pink, and the other is pink. Now, let's do the actual one first. So, we've already seen this one on track, and it's not changed my initial opinion on it at all. To be quite honest with with you guys, it looks shocking. Like, it's terrible. It looks awful. It's not the fact that I don't like pink. It's just it's been incorporated so badly. Even last year, I no. And also, I've heard this analogy before where a lot of teams have added, just left exposed carbon on the car as like looking like a virus that's spreading around the F1 grid. I can see what they mean. It looks like the Alpine has been badly affected by it because it just looks like it's unfinished. It's just, I mean, look at it. Let's find a better angle. Just look at that. I can't see any way you can describe that as good looking, I'm afraid. It's, yeah. At least there's no map-free logo there, which they had last year. That's a concept, but that's what they had last year as well. So the colour balancing is not an issue with the red anymore. It's now an issue with the carbon, which is even worse. So I'm afraid, and also the Microsoft logo, you can't really read that from a long distance. And also, okay, what they've done with the wheel covers, fair enough, not too bad. But yeah, it's going in the bin. Yeah. Okay, now now it's time for the Alpine, obviously. I'm just calling it the Alpine because it's a pink Alpine. So, okay, I know this is a slightly different image. It doesn't matter. Let's put that on here. So, it's slightly better balanced, I have to say. It's obviously sponsor placements are all the same. It's sponsor placements is not a massive issue with this car. It's just mainly the color balancing. Obviously this is only one color, pink. Again, like I said, it's not my favorite color by a long way, and it's but even so, it's going above this one because it's just better balanced. At least having 3 different colors, blue, pink, and black, is more of an issue than having 2 different colors, pink and black. Obviously, it still doesn't look great. I'm sure they could have found a way to incorporate the black a bit better. Well, a lot better, really. So yeah, I'm, 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 I'm. It's gonna go in meh, I reckon. It's still better looking than this one though. This doesn't make sense. So yeah, that's my tier list. I'm going to try and put them in order. Obviously, these two I can leave where they are. To sort of give my overall ranking. So let's just go from back to front. Red Bull is staying there, I'm afraid. AlphaTauri as well. Or I don't know. Do I prefer the Red Bull to the AlphaTauri? I think I do actually. So we're going to swap those two around. So Haas still stays there, I reckon. I'm tempted to drop this down to meh, but I don't think it's actually in the same tier as this, so I'm leaving it there. McLaren, I'm tempted to put that up into Simply Lovely. I'm not 100% sure though. It's hard to say. In some lights, it does look good. Let's see. Yeah, I really don't know. To be honest, from Simply Lovely to Goated, these 5 liveries, they all look so good. So it's going to be hard to order that. McLaren's staying there, I reckon. So I reckon. God, this is tricky. Yeah, this is very, very tricky. This is, this. I feel like these two tiers are kind of combined into one because they all look so good. These 5 liveries. I don't know. I'll put Alpha. Oh, whoops. I'll put Alpha there if I can, if it allows me. Maybe not. It does allow me, thank you. No. There we go, that'll do. No. Now, okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm going to put the Alpha there. The Mercedes and the Williams, they both look so good, I can't lie. Okay, I'm literally, these two are tied. So, would that be it? It's hard to decide between the Alfa and the Ferrari. I reckon Aston's number 1. Then it's either Ferrari or Sauber. Alfa Romeo. Oh, I'm not sure. It's so tricky to decide. No, I'm leaving it like this. So there you go. That's my overall ranking. The best looking car, Aston Martin. Second, Ferrari. Alfa Romeo, third. Mercedes, fourth. Tied with Williams. Followed by McLaren. No, you know what? I feel like McLaren is a tier ahead of Haas. But is it in the same tier as these two? It's just a shame that they had that light blue. I feel like without that light blue and just orange and black, that would look good. And also the old blue that they had. Let me just find an image for you. The 2021 McLaren. So that's the McLaren MCL 35M. See that kind of blue works. It blends in quite nicely with the papaya. Yeah, I prefer that. This is tricky. Hang on, let me just see some on-track photos. um, oh yeah, I like the fact they've also gone to black font instead of blue that they had last year. Like that. That's a terrible image, but you can vaguely see it. I prefer the black font. Yeah, you know what? I'm putting McLaren into Simply Lovely. I think it is Simply Lovely, so it deserves to go there. And I think that should do it in terms of my tier listing. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with how this looks. So, let's go through it again. In goated tier, in this order, we have Aston Martin, Ferrari, and Alfa Romeo. Simply Lovely, Mercedes, tied with Williams, McLaren a little bit further back. Tier below, decent, starting with Haas, Red Bull, followed by AlphaTauri, and then the pink Alpine in the meh group, and then getting in the bin is the blue, pink, and black Alpine. Alright, that's it for my tier listing. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let's just save this, just in case I need it next year. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. And we're now going to drive this car here on F122 because the F1 EA has updated. Is EA Codemasters, whatever, doesn't matter. They've updated the F122 game, so now we can drive this F1 2023 Alfa Romeo livery on time trial. So while I set up my stream on Xbox and everything, yeah, well, you can have a look at this tier list, and see you in a bit on F122. Hang on, just going to mute my mic. So unfortunately, because my Xbox is stupid, we can't do that. The update failed to install, and I'm having to uninstall the game and reinstall it again to make it have any sort of chance of for it to work. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the stream. Slightly disappointing, but it is what it is. And yeah, hope you enjoyed nevertheless. That's my final tier list, and yeah, hopefully we get to drive the Alfa at some point, but that point is not going to be today, unfortunately. But yeah, see you guys next time.